and good afternoon or good evening to everyone depending on your time zone. I want to welcome everyone to the webinar. As you can see on your screen today, the purpose of this webinar is to help our prospective students determine which program is going to be right for them. So let's go ahead and get started. So before we dive into the webinar, I just want to give everyone a heads up. Everyone is in a muted state. If you do have a question, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there should be a section where you can type your question in, and as those questions come in, we'll be sure to answer those questions. The purpose of the webinar is to ensure everyone feels comfortable with all the information they received tonight. So please ask questions, and we'll be more than happy to answer those. Okay, so just to give everyone an idea how the webinar is going to be structured, the first thing we're going to do is go over the program structure, and then as Amy indicated, we do have a current student on with us. Her name is Stacy Humphrey, and we'll introduce her a little bit later in the webinar. And you guys are also in for a really good treat. We're actually going to take you into the classroom and have you take a look at what our students, what the student experience is like in the actual classroom. After that, we'll go over the admissions information, which is a huge topic for most prospective students. And then after that, we'll go over, we'll have some time for Q&A. So not to worry, if your question doesn't get answered as you type it in, we'll be sure to get to it in the Q&A session. So in case anyone is wondering, you know, what that central voice or who has that central voice, that's me on the left-hand side, and that's Stacy on the right. She will be our student that's actually going through the MBA program at this time, and she'll be coming on in just a few seconds. Just to give everyone an idea of some of the credentials of our faculty, these are a few of our faculty members in the MBA program. You have a business law professor, Patricia Brill. Tim Birch is actually our finance instructor. He actually teaches the very first course, which is the Business 640 course of the MBA program. Just below them is Seth Levine. He's actually a CPA. He's the accounting professor as well as the accounting program director. And then to the right of Seth, it's Amy. I always mess up her name, so forgive me. Gramonte, she's our marketing professor. Okay, so what we want to do is help everyone determine which program is going to be right for them. Here in the School of Business Online, we offer 3 programs. It's going to be the Masters of Business Administration, which is the MBA. The MBA can be combined with several different certificates in order to make up a focus area within your MBA. So just to give everyone an idea, the MBA is a standard MBA. It's 26 months, and it's 42 credit hours. There is no concentration as students think. However, for those students who would like an added area of focus to their program, they can take an extra program, which is considered a graduate certificate. So the 3 certificates that are going to be applicable is going to be the Certificate in Financial Decision Making, a Certificate in Corporate Finance, or a Certificate in Accounting Practice. If you take those certificates, it adds a little bit more time to your program, but at the end of the program, what you will achieve is 2 things. You'll earn an MBA as well as a graduate certificate in a specialized area, whether it be in finance or accounting. Okay, so this gives students a more breakdown of what each area consists of. So as you take a look going from left to right, the professional MBA, again, 26 months, 42 credit hours. The way this slide works out, if you continue to slide to your right, you'll notice that the MBA, when combined with the financial decision-making focus area, which is a graduate certificate, still lands at around 26 months. And the reason this is so beneficial is because those courses actually transfer into the MBA program. So the graduate certificate is actually 4 courses. 3 of the 4 are applicable to the MBA. So rather than taking the MBA and then an additional 4 courses, what you actually end up doing is taking the MBA and then 1 additional course. So the time still works out to around 26 months. However, the total credit hours will be 47. And then the same goes for the certificate in corporate finance. And if you continue on to the last section over here on the right, the MBA with the concentration in accounting practice, this is a little bit different. The time extends a little bit more because it's 28 months, considering that not all of the courses are going to be applicable to the MBA, because in this case we're taking a specialized area in accounting, and these are totally different courses. So again, what happens is you complete your MBA, and then you have an added graduate certificate. So rather than 42 credit hours, it will be 28 months, and you finish with 51 credit hours. And on your transcript, what you would have received is an actual MBA and then a graduate certificate in accounting practice. So the concept is still the same. We offer students an opportunity to determine, which specialized area they want to go into, and then depending on that specialized area, the number of credit hours and the length of time of the program will vary just a little bit. Just below this section, there are other programs that are available as well, still within the School of Business. So students have an option for the Master's in Professional Accounting, Master's in Professional Accounting with a CPA track, as well as a Master's in Finance. Let's talk about the Master's in Professional Accounting for the CPA track first. A lot of times students will find that if you're transitioning from a different industry, let's say for example marketing or even economics, let's say that was your undergrad and you want to transition into an accounting field because maybe you've held an accounting position for quite some time. What you'll find in today's academic arena is that you'll have to take quite a bit of prerequisites in order to gain admissions into the program. That's not the case for our program. There are actually no prerequisites for this program because it was designed for students who do not have an academic background in accounting. So you can actually enter this program, start the program immediately without taking any prerequisites and continue on. This program will actually satisfy the criteria for most state CPA boards. So you will get the cost accounting, the valuations, the nonprofit accounting. You will cover those subject matter in the program and still be eligible for your CPA at the end of the program. Most states would require roughly 150 credit hours for the CPA eligibility. We always encourage everyone to absolutely take a look at your state and see if it's going to meet the requirement, but in most cases it does. And that's if you choose to go the CPA track. Now, for students who opt not to take the CPA track, the program is still pretty attractive to those students as well. It's still 16 months. Instead of 40 credit hours, it's 32 credit hours. And then last but certainly not least, we do offer a Master's in Finance online as well. Again, this program is also 16 months and 32 credit hours. And also there are no prerequisites to gain admissions into this program. Students can start right away. All right, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Stacy. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself and her experience so far coming into the program. So Stacy, if you can jump in.
Yeah, sure. Good evening, everyone. It's such an honor to be here to talk to all of you potential hurricanes. I'm really passionate about the University of Miami and the MBA program, so it's exciting to be able to share my experience. I am currently located in New York City, where I work for a large beauty retailer in e-commerce, and I'm responsible for analytics and CRM. So that's kind of my day job while I'm pursuing my MBA online through Miami.
All right, fantastic. So Stacy, some of the questions that we've been getting so far from students, I'm just going to pitch them to you, and you can help us understand a little bit better about your experience. So one of the hot questions that we've gotten is, what led you to consider pursuing a master's degree, and why did you ultimately choose the University of Miami?
That's a great question. I'm kind of at a point in my career. I have about 7 years of professional work experience, and I've reached kind of a plateau at my current job where I didn't really have the credentials to make it to the next level, and I also wasn't really getting the growth and opportunities in my current role that I was hoping for. And as I would look around the office and the industry, I started to notice that a lot of people that I really admire in positions of power that you might one day aspire to hold, they all hold MBAs. And so it's a really competitive world, especially with a really savvy younger generation coming up and competing for a lot of these digital and e-commerce roles where that's the space I live in today. So I wanted to stay relevant. I wanted to work on myself, and the MBA seemed like a perfect fit. I didn't have the luxury of doing the traditional, on-campus MBA program. I have a really demanding job right now, and so the flexibility that the program offered was really attractive to me. So it's kind of a combination of the program coming about at the right time, and I was mentally committed to go back to school and really excited about taking on a new learning experience. And with for me, it was a no-brainer. I'm a double hurricane. I earned my undergrad from the University of Miami, and I have some of the best, friends and memories and experiences of my life at the U. So it was a really natural fit for me to, come back to the university to pursue my online MBA.
All right, perfect. Sounds like that was an easy decision for you. So a couple of questions are also coming in. Can you tell me about any project assignments that you've had, and did you enjoy the project assignments in the program?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. I'm 6 classes into the program, so I'm 1 year down, and it's been really great to kind of expand my horizons and really learn about myself. And I've noticed along the way that I've developed interest in topics that I never knew about or never even knew I had. So one example is I took a management information systems class with an outstanding professor. His name's Dr. Plant, and we really focused every single week on cybersecurity and the ethics of data and e-commerce. And so it was a topic that's near and dear to my heart. It's in my professional wheelhouse. And each week we would really dive into these cases that were related to current events. So hospitals that were being hacked, or the ethical issues behind whether or not the FBI should be able to tap into Apple phones as part of an effort to fight terrorism. So all of these topics were relevant and current events that were going on in the news, but we had the opportunity each week to write up some cases and collaborate with other students. And that was really enjoyable for me because it was great to be able to apply what I was learning in the classroom to my everyday. And it was also a great exercise in really honing my analytical and my writing skills, and it was an opportunity to get to know my classmates a lot better. So I really enjoyed that case writing experience.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so that actually leads into the next question. How do you manage your workload? So I'm sure it's a pretty intensive program, and any time management tips that you could possibly provide for everyone on the line?
Absolutely. I would say, I'm not going to lie, you are certainly going to be very busy, but if you're like me, I find that the busier I am, the more organized it forces me to be. So in terms of time management, the best advice I could give is to really front load your week so that you're not leaving anything to the last minute. And I really try to prioritize any reading for the week or case materials so that I can really set myself up to actually complete the assignments throughout the week. So I'll spend some weekends really poring over the books and learning that week's material. And I would say to plan to work on schoolwork daily. There are, of course, exceptions here and there, but it's really kind of a daily time commitment to chip away at some of the work to make it feel more manageable. And I'm fortunate. I live in New York City, and I use public transportation to commute to work, so I really leverage any downtime I have on that commute to study and to read and to prepare for my classes. So I would say to be productive in those moments where you have the chance. And I've also really taken advantage of some file sharing tools like Dropbox. There are many other productivity apps that might work for you, but I have never been caught in a situation where I have 5 or 10 minutes on my lunch break at work and I want to edit a paper and I left it on my home computer. So having a really good file sharing tool where you can always store all of your documents, access them through multiple devices has been a really important win for me. And the last thing I would say is, just learn to kind of say no, and you can't always honor all of your commitments, and that's okay. Keep your eye on the prize and take things day by day, and just kind of stay focused on the journey and the end goal of earning your MBA or whatever program is right for you.
Wow, that's really good information. Here's another question. If you had to quantify the amount of time that you apply to the program on a daily basis, what would you say, between 2 to 3 hours a day? Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say 2 to 3 hours is fair. On the weekends, since I do try to front load my week, I might spend 4 or 5 hours since I have some extra time, but 2 to 3 hours is a fair estimate.
Okay. Well, Stacy, I want to thank you. We do have one last question here. What do you hope to do with this degree when you're finished?
I think that's still kind of an open question for me. I'm not exactly sure what the future holds. I do still have 1 year to go in the program, but I will say that the MBA has definitely expanded my horizons and made me excited about potentially working as a consultant, or it's really made me tap into a love of learning, and I realized that I don't think I want to work in retail, in the retail sector for the rest of my life, and I also don't think I want to work for a big company. So that leaves a lot of area for me to explore, but I would say that if anything, that the MBA has really just made me overall more confident in the workplace and has given me a great toolkit as to how to approach different problems, and I'm excited about what lies ahead.
Perfect. Fantastic. Amy, I think we're getting a little bit of static in the line. Do you hear that?
Oh, sure. Let me see what I can do about that. We do have one additional question that came in, Stacy, and Jonathan, maybe you can help answer this as well. But as online business continues to increase at a rapid pace, what does the MBA have to offer that would help our understanding in that field?
In online business? Well, the idea of this MBA is to give students an opportunity to be a more well-rounded business professional. So one of the things I like about the MBA program, differently from most graduate programs, is the fact that you're going to take courses in every area. You're going to take courses in marketing, economics, finance, and accounting. Because ideally what we want the student to do is have an opportunity to take a more macro approach to business and how they apply their skills on a day-to-day basis within the corporation. So the student that asked that question is right. The world is no longer a small place. Today we have companies that are conducting business as a small company with other countries. So this program, ideally, through various courses, will allow the student to have a better understanding of how to apply their knowledge of, whether it be, again, accounting, finance, or even economics. Aside from just that, we understand online learning can be a little bit challenging for some students. The program also offers an optional residency that's held here in Coral Gables. The next residency that's coming up is going to be an intensive course based on contract negotiations from a corporate perspective. So these are just some of the things that the student will be able to take advantage of to help them, grow, whether it's within their organization or even to take that step out into a different industry. Hopefully that helps the student understand a little bit better. Amy, I'm going to proceed to the next slide, okay?
Yeah, go ahead and jump in.
All right, fantastic. So actually, now that we've wrapped up with Stacy, and Stacy was actually gracious enough to let us know if there are any other questions for her, just let her know, and she'll be able to answer those questions. But in the time being, just as I said earlier, what we're going to do is take students into an actual classroom that took place over the summer. It's actually the very first course of the MBA program. It's the Business 640. It's the Quantitative and Analytical Fundamentals of Finance course. It's a pretty math-intensive course, and it's actually taught by Professor Birch, which was the finance instructor on the previous slide. So without further ado, let's jump right in to give students an idea of what they can anticipate. So coming into our program, one of the cool things I like about this program is the fact that we give students access to their classes 4 days in advance. Now that's considered a preview period. During that time, the student is restricted from submitting any assignments. However, the student has total access to go in, take a look at each and every week, take a look at the assignments, get a good look at the syllabus, be sure they know how to contact the professor, get their navigation down, take a good look at the quick tips for each week, because the last thing we want the student to do is be fumbling around in the classroom once their class actually starts. Because this program is pretty intensive, we want every student to hit the ground running. So coming into the program, again, you'll gain access to your class 4 days in advance. So let's take a look at what the classroom experience is going to be like. If you've taken an online class before, it's still pretty similar to the Blackboard of old, so some of these buttons and links may still look the same, and then it may look a little bit different, but for the most part, it's still Blackboard. So at the very top here, it tells you the name of the course, the dates of your course, the start date and the end date. Keep in mind this was a course from over the summer, so it's a little outdated, which is quite all right. So we're going to take a look at the course announcements. Course announcements tell you everything that you need to know on a weekly basis. So you can always come back here throughout the week to see what announcements the professor might roll out. Just below that will always be the faculty member's bio. So this is Dr. Birch. He will be the instructor for this course. Tells you a little bit about himself and may even tell you what he's looking forward to experiencing with students throughout the week, or throughout the entire term, I should say. The term, by the way, is a 7-week course. Every course here is 7 weeks. Here's a good look at the syllabus. Our syllabus is broken down by pages. Syllabus doesn't really offer details of the assignments. However, it does give the student a very good calendar or a timeline that they can follow. It tells you obviously the course materials, text, ISBN number, where you can purchase your books and your materials, the course scheduling, and again, without offering a great length description of each assignment, it tells you what the assignment is and when it's due. Pretty easy for students to follow along with. This is a breakdown of the assessment table, telling you how your assignments are weighted and how your final grades will be structured. And then again, the university's policy, the honor code. Okay, so we're going to jump out of the syllabus. I'm not going to go into grades because this is an actual previous class, so we can't go there. But obviously, my grades is where your grades will be housed. Course messages, very important. They come in the form of an inbox, so you always want to ensure you come here every week or even every day that you're logging in to check your course grades, excuse me, not grades, but messages to see what information the professor may be offering. Technical support. In our program, technical support is offered 24/7, so if you click this button, it will actually take you to a information box for you to fill out, as well as a contact telephone number for technical support if you need support right away. The online library, if you've used a smart library before, you are familiar with online libraries. Our library hosts over 200,000 books, all online, available in a PDF format. It's a smart library. EBSCO hosts peer-reviewed journals, magazines, newspapers. If it's something related to the subject matter, you can absolutely go in there and find the information. I've actually taken courses where I've misplaced my textbook and I've used the library to get me through a week using just what's available in the library. So I absolutely recommend every student becoming very familiar with the library. Faculty guidelines. Well, page closed, but basically what faculty guidelines does is tell you what the faculty member is expecting for the upcoming week. The office hours isn't going to be listed because this course is closed, but one of the unique things about our program, although it's online, it offers a student an opportunity to meet with the professor on a weekly basis. So what you'll find is that your professor will schedule office hours. So unlike when we were all in our undergrad, we would wait in front of the professor's office for an hour or two just to see the professor. That's no longer the case. Your office hours are now scheduled on a weekly basis. It's conducted by Adobe WebEx Connect. The professor does try to schedule it at a convenient hour. Usually it's later in the evening to give everyone an opportunity to conduct their workday and then log into the office hours. During that time, before you get to the office hours, just to piggyback on Stacy's point, you want to front load your week, as she stated, conducting your reading over the weekend and a little bit of homework as well. So this way, when you get to the office hours, you have relevant information. You can ask the questions of something you didn't understand throughout your reading, and then the professor can expand on that. Every office hour is recorded. It is a live session, so if the professor needs to work out something on the whiteboard, he can do so. It's recorded and posted back in the classroom, and that's just something that you don't see today in a whole lot of online classes. So that's one of the features that students absolutely love about our program. And then from there, we go into the course overview. Now, some of our courses will be conducted, or the way the information will be offered, it's going to be video lectures, professor notes, PowerPoint presentations, anything that you can anticipate. Each classroom will offer that type of instruction, or that mode of instruction, I should say. And then I always encourage everyone to log in and click on the very first week to see what the professor is going to be discussing for this week. So for example, this week is labeled Building Blocks of Finance. Obviously, that's probably the very first subject to go over, considering there are no prerequisites to coming to the program. And as you scroll down, it gives you a good idea of what's coming due for the upcoming week. Weekly downloads and content. Week 1 offers a practice quiz to get the student more familiar with the classroom, going over what browsers are going to be best for you. Practice quiz, the syllabus, tips, absolutely take advantage of the tips. And then you get an opportunity to download the entire package of tools and resources that the professor is offering. So without going into every single week, it gives you a good idea of what the classroom experience is going to be like. So that goes over the classroom experience. We're just going to continue to truck on. So now the major question that everyone is asking about the admissions process. So we ask the students to provide 5 things throughout our application process. It's going to be the transcript, GMAT scores if applicable, their resume, 2 letters of recommendations, and a 1-page personal statement. To give you an idea of what the personal statement should be like, it's very much similar to how Stacy introduced herself. Just tell us a little bit about your academic experience, your professional experience, and why you're interested in this program and how it's going to benefit your career. Usually students will make their personal statement roughly a page in length. I would say no more than 2 pages, but a page would be sufficient. And that will be it. Another great thing about our application process, it only takes us about 24 to 48 hours to make an admissions decision for the student. So the faster you can work to get those documents provided to us, the sooner we can get that admissions decision out to you. Our next start date is coming up on September 5th, and the application deadline is August 15th. This presentation is going to be sent out, but if anyone is wondering, you can simply apply to http semicolon //.myonline.miami.edu. And it's that easy to apply. All right, tuition and financial aid. So as an enrollment advisor, I tell you we try to make the financial aid process, if that's the case for the student, if the student is using financial aid, very simple. We give you the instructions on how to complete your FAFSA, which is your free application for federal student aid. The code that you see there is our federal school code. Once you complete the FAFSA, we'll give you the instructions on how to complete the remaining package of your financial aid, whether it's completing a master promissory note, your entrance counseling. We also put you in touch directly with the financial aid office to ensure you receive all of the information you need to have your package prepared and all set long before classes actually start. So we want to get that wrapped up before classes start in order to give the student a clear mind that this way they can focus on their studies once classes start. Never fear, because if you're using a different type of benefit, let's say for example it's a scholarship foundation or as listed here, veterans benefits, we can coordinate those benefits for you as well. Simply just provide us with the documentation. We'll get it over to our Veterans Affairs teams and they'll go ahead and get that set up for you. Now in the event the student is going to pay their tuition on their own or even through their, let's say for example, their employer, they're using tuition assistance or tuition reimbursement, we can coordinate a monthly payment plan for the student that's offered through the university. You just need to let us know and we'll give you the instructions on how to set that up. For any employees that may be on the line, tuition remission is where the university pays the tuition versus tuition reimbursement is in the event you pay your tuition up front and then your employer will reimburse you for some, if not all, of the tuition dollars paid for each semester. And we'll continue. Now, these are quick links that you'll need in order to apply or even just to continue your research into the program. The first one, miami.edu/online, will take you directly to our online website. The next link is the Apply Now link where you can actually start an application. You can follow our blog, which offers a great deal of information every day about what students are doing here in our online program or what's taking place with the university. If you need to contact an advisor, depending on which program you are interested in, feel free to send us an email to onlineinfo@miami.edu. If you don't want to send an email, you can give us a call. We'll be more than happy to assist you nonetheless. And then you can also follow online or join the conversation, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And before we go, I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Hopefully this gives you a little bit more insight into what is offered here at the University of Miami UOnline, and it helps you make a better decision. I absolutely encourage everyone, if you have any questions at all on anything that wasn't covered in the presentation tonight, please use this 1-800 number, give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to assist you with that question. Hello, Amy.
All right. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much. That was great. If there are any additional questions, we are a few minutes over, but we're happy to stay on the line. Otherwise, again, that number will put you directly in contact with Jonathan and his team. I'll give you guys just another minute. All right. Well, thank you all again so much for attending. Jonathan and Stacy, thank you. You guys were awesome. I hope you all have a wonderful night.
Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for attending.
Good night.